Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today, we have an oxymoron who successfully unsuccessfully represents himself in court. So let's begin.
Alright, and this is the date and time set for a pre-trial note. Mr. Lanto is appearing via Zoom conference. Ms. Hamame, did you have a chance to speak to Mr. Lanto?
I did not have a chance to speak with Mr. Lanto today, Judge, but we have made an offer several hearings ago, and that offer has not changed.
What is the offer?
Judge, the offer was if he renewed his driver's license, then I would dismiss that charge and he would plead responsible to the registration plate violation. That was the offer made on September 28, 2021. That remains on the table.
Okay. Mr. Lanto, did you hear the representations from Ms. Hamame?
I did. It sounds an awful lot like extortion.
No, it's not extortion. You broke the law, and there's consequences to your actions. The prosecutor is simply giving you a chance to correct your unlawful actions, and in exchange, she'll remove the punishment.
Alright.
So they're willing to give me they're willing to have less bad things happen to me if I just pay money, correct?
No, she said if you're willing to renew your license.
By the way, I'm live streaming this. Do you object to the live streaming? I'll end the live stream right now.
Well, you're not supposed to do it without permission.
Well, I can end it if you'd like.
Well, I really don't have any objection to it, but you're supposed to get permission ahead of time.
So I come from the camp that typically asks for forgiveness instead of for permission. Except for one instance, when money's involved or my freedom. If either of those two are involved, I tend to ask for permission before forgiveness.
But the offer, Mr. Lanto, is if you renew your license, your driver's license, she's willing to dismiss that charge.
Okay, well, she could also dismiss this NOLLE PROSEQUI, and we could always come back to this if something were to happen down the road. So what is NOLLE PROSEQUI? NOLLE PROSEQUI is legalese.
No! NOLLE PROSEQUI is not legalese. It's Latin, and it almost directly translates to will not prosecute. Now there's a common misconception about legalese, and that it's the language of the courts, when actually, legalese is the informal language of contract law. An easy way to explain it is that if you spoke legalese out loud, people would think you were having a stroke. Let me give you an example, and I want you to use the comment section below to try to tell me what I'm talking about when I say the following legalese statement. In witness, whereof the parties hereunto have set their hands to these presents in a deed on the day, month, and year hereinbefore mentioned.
Okay, well, she could also dismiss this NOLLE PROSEQUI, and we could always come back to this if something were to happen down the road. But if she did that, I could contract voluntarily with the state. I'm not admitting to the charge or that I actually drove without a license. I'm not making an admission here in court today. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say, if you want me to contract voluntarily with the state, I am willing to consider that.
I wish you knew how fucking stupid you really were. Didn't they not tell you that if you contract with the states, that they would drop the charges? And what was it you said? Oh yeah, that's right.
It sounds an awful lot like extortion.
Alright, so for today's purpose, it's a pre-trial, and the prosecutor is the one that has the ability to make the offer.
Does she want to
dismiss? Let me talk.
Sorry.
You can either accept her offer or deny or determine, you can turn the offer down.
Well, is she willing to dismiss this NOLLE PROSEQUI?
No.
I think she said no.
No, on the record.
I made the offer.
On the record, she's stating no, and she has the power to do that. Correct?
She's on the record, and she stated no.
Well, then I guess we have to move to trial, or we have to get this jurisdiction issue handled as well.
Why is it that every sovereign citizen doesn't realize that this jurisdiction argument has never worked before and it's not about to start working now? But don't let me stop stupid from being stupid.
So we're going to have to set this for trial. Now, my next question for you is it your intent to hire an attorney, or are you going to ask for a public defender, or are you intending to represent yourself?
Well, I intend to get this jurisdiction issue settled because a few proceedings ago, we were discussing jurisdiction. Miss Meme claimed that it was on the ticket, and then she said she would mail me discovery evidence, which was the ticket, and nowhere on that ticket did it even discuss the word jurisdiction.
Okay, Mr. Lanto, you can't do that orally. You have to file a written motion.
Well, you said I could do it at any stage of the proceeding, and then you said that the arraignment wasn't the proper proceeding to do it.
You have to file a written motion.
See, these sovereign citizens keep doing stupid shit, like driving without a license, registration, or insurance, or representing themselves in court. And as the wise Judge Middleton once put it, you can't keep shooting yourself in the foot because you only got 10 toes.
But you didn't answer my question. I asked you a pretty direct question, and you didn't answer my question. Is it your intent to hire your own attorney?
It's my intention to not have to come back whatsoever. I don't want to participate in this.
I don't think normal people do like to have their daily routine interrupted just to participate in a traffic ticket trial, which is why normal people normally follow the law.
Doesn't answer my question, though. Do you intend to hire your own attorney? Would you like me to appoint an attorney for you, or do you wish to proceed?
I don't wish to proceed at all. I'm only here under threats of coercion and duress.
Mr. Lanto, we're going through this again. I'm asking you a very direct question. It just requires a direct answer. So I'll break it down into 3 separate questions. The first question is, do you intend to hire an attorney to represent you? Yes or no? That's all I want to hear. Yes or no?
Well, an attorney to represent you is an oxymoron.
No, an actual moron who calls himself a sovereign citizen is an oxymoron.
An attorney can't represent anybody. I can only present myself as a man to this court.
Okay, so I'm going to say the answer is no. Would you like the court to appoint an attorney to represent you?
I don't want to participate in this at all.
Then stop breaking the law, you fucking idiot.
Yes or no? Do you wish to have the court appoint an attorney to represent you?
Well, I don't wish to be compelled to give an answer here either.
All right. Do you intend to represent yourself?
I don't wish to be compelled to give an answer here.
At this point in time, we'll have to set this matter for a jury trial. I'm not going to go forward and appoint an attorney based upon his representations.
Yeah, because I would like to make a verbal motion to dismiss this for lack of in rem jurisdiction, lack of in personam jurisdiction, lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
Okay, fine. Let's discuss his 3 fictional jurisdictions. 1. Lack of interim jurisdiction, which I can only deduce means there's a lack of time and place jurisdiction, and it did happen at a certain time, and it did happen in their county, so motion denied. 2. Lack of in personam jurisdiction. This is the power that gives the courts jurisdiction over an individual to punish him for his crimes. And again, motion denied. And 3. Lack of subject matter jurisdiction. That's when one court doesn't have the power to rule over a particular type of charge. For instance, this would be like trying to try a first-degree murder case in family court. And one more time, motion denied.
Just going to instruct you, Mr. Lanto, that if you wish to make motions, they have to be in writing because both parties have a right to respond. So that I'm not going to let Ms. Hamami make oral motions.
Well, she could always dismiss this.
And I'm not going to allow you to make oral motions. So we will set this matter for a jury trial. You'll get that notice in the mail. At this point in time, I'm not going to appoint an attorney for you.
Okay,
if you change your mind, you're going to have to contact the court and fill out the proper paperwork.
Come on, Judge. He's a sovereign citizen. Unless that paperwork involves a whole bunch of stick figures, you can count on him not filling that out properly.
And I will appoint an attorney for you to represent you. You certainly have the right to hire your own lawyer at any time if you so desire.
Well, I have already filed paperwork with the court, and the court said that they received the paperwork. Can we put that paperwork on the record, please?
I'm not sure what paperwork you're talking about, Mr. Lanto.
The paperwork I delivered at the initial arraignment, at the initial proceeding, that I've been told time and time again, we don't have time to read that into the record. Today, do we have time to read that into the record?
I'm not going to read it. It's not necessary to read it in the record. If you're talking about a document called Affidavit of Status.
Yes, I would like to read that.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, and the Notice of Deficiency.
I'm not going to read it into the record.
as the judge shouldn't read that into the record. An affidavit of status is a nonsense document. In fact, if you look up on the internet an example of a properly filled out affidavit of status, you'll find it being filled out by the Moorish sovereign citizens.
And then there's a notice of deficiencies and irregular.
Yeah, so here's what the affidavit of status says. The affidavit of status says...
I'm not listening to that, Mr. Lanto. This isn't the proper time and the proper place.
That's what
it's part of the file. It has been accepted into the file. It doesn't require a response, so I'm not going to let you read it into the record at this time.
So, for the record...
Judge, I haven't received a copy either.
But there's no action on it, so it doesn't require a response. It's a filing of documents.
Well, on the notice of deficiencies, it does ask for a response, which I did not get.
It wasn't motioned properly before the court. You filed a notice. And if you did file a notice that required any response, it would have to be served on the opposing party in order for it to be heard properly before the court. So I am going to set this matter for a jury trial. I don't have a date. We'll send you the court date. As I stated, if you wish to have an attorney represent you and you wish to have a court-appointed attorney, you'll have to contact my clerk or come into the court and fill out the proper paperwork so we can get an attorney.
What a dumbass. Logs into Zoom court on his phone and doesn't put it in airplane mode. And that's not even the end of it. Listen to how he tries to lie to save face in front of everybody who's watching him live.
Okay. Hello? And that was it. So anyways, guys, what'd you guys think? So much for a fair and impartial hearing? Yeah, absolutely, right? You're rooting for contempt of court, Taco? Of course you would. They just dismissed me from the court case, by the way, guys.
By now, you guys should know that I love to call people out for doing stupid shit on the internet. But if there's any one thing that I love more than that, is exposing a liar in 4K. As many of you remember, a few videos ago, I covered BSBT when they towed his car and he almost got arrested. For about 20% of his video, his phone was in his jacket pocket and was still recording the interaction. During that time, his phone rang, and guess what ringtone he had?
I had no tickets. Okay. Yeah. You call Lakeside Towing and tell them, hey, we're gonna...
That's kind of like that same tone that got you kicked out of Zoom court. Fucking liars. Alright, that's the end of the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. Be sure to comment below, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss any of my content. I'm Team Skeptic, and I'm out.